Gwinnett County 911. What is the location of the emergency?
The lady standing out in her driveway hollering that child.
Police arrive to the scene, enter the home, find one expired in the living room. As they check in the house, they find another person expired. So when the homicide detective arrived, they give him the rundown of what happened. The officers tell him two victims are brothers. One was on the couch, the other in the back bedroom. They were identified as 21-year-old Christopher, also known as CJ. Him and his girlfriend had a YouTube channel. The other victim was his brother Darius Jr. He was a truck driver, also worked on cars, and a father of four. He also shared custody with their moms. Darius was hit 4 times with the ooh-whop. CJ once. They found a projectile and 3 casings from 40s. Darius had $800 in his wallet, so it's not a robbery. Then they recovered Darius' phone. It appears that they were sleeping when this occurred. Nothing is out of place or stolen. No forced entry. So they're leaning towards a domestic situation with Darius being the target. So they finish with the scene. Go talk to the mom and the sister. The sister says when she arrived, she opened both locks on the door because she had a spare key. They said the only way to get in was the garage, and you need the code for that. The sister said Darius' ex-girlfriend, the mother of 2 of his kids, has the code. She tells detectives they should have documents in their computer about their domestic violence. She also said a month ago she came to the house trying to fight Darius. They called the police to get her removed, and she entered the home through the garage. So the detectives asked.
So she was the last person basically to start any trouble with any one of your sons.
She's the only person.
And she knows the code to get into the garage.
And his other baby mamas came to the scene to see what's going on, but she's not here. So they wrap that up, head over to the ex house. A woman answers the door and says she's her lawyer. So the lawyers say they can talk on the porch. So the ex said Darius came over last night around 12 a.m., went to QT, we drunk a little, and he left around 3 a.m. She says they didn't have a good relationship because of their differences, and right now they're taking a break.
Helps me with them. You know how vital that is for mother? Why would I give that away? Like, seriously.
So they end that interview, head to the QT she said they went to so they can review the video footage. The footage backs up her story, but they do have a timeline now of the incident. They know it happened between 3 and 7 a.m. So they don't rule her out, but understand they need to keep working the case. Then Darius and CJ mom called. Detective says Darius had an incident with one of his ex-girlfriends, baby daddies, because he punished his son. The other person she named was Walter. They used to be roommates, and something went down where Walter had to leave the house. So they figured Walter may have had the code too. The mom gave them the phone number and last name. So they punch him into the computer, see he has a vehicle, run the plates to see if it pops up in Gwinnett County license plate reader, and they see Walter on the interstate at 5:30 a.m. going towards Alabama. Walter is 29 years old, played wingback for his varsity football team. Then he became a security guard. He's also a father of 3. The detectives decided to reach out to Walter. He cut his phone off. Then they check his social media account. That's also deleted. So now they head over to Darius' block to see if any neighbors have surveillance cameras. They recover some video. You see someone appear in the shadows. Then the motion light comes on. This is at 3:39 a.m. Then 20 minutes after the figure appeared, the motion light comes on again, and you see the figure running from the scene. This was at 4 a.m. Then a car drives off. So they check another neighbor's footage, and it looks like a blue vehicle, which is the color of Walter's vehicle. Now the detectives get a new number on Walter. Call and leave a message. Walter returns the call. They ask him, "Do you know why we're calling you?" He said, "About Darius." They asked him, "Why did you miss the funeral?" He said he was out of town working with a client. So the detective asked Walter, what was he doing on the 28th? He said he was working security an hour and a half away from the scene. His hours were 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And he went to the Knights Inn Hotel. The detective asked, what type of car were you driving? Walter said a blue VW. He also said his 40 was stolen back in December, the same caliber found on the scene. They asked him, did he ever live with Darius and CJ? He said no. So they end their conversation with Walter. Pick up video footage from the Knights Inn where Walter stayed.
Walter's going to his room. 6 minutes have elapsed. There he goes with the tote. He's moving with a purpose. 4:27. Looks like he's leaving in a hurry to get out of there.
Everything right now is pointing towards Walter. They get the phone records, and they show Walter around the area, leaving there and heading to that hotel. So they get M warrants for Walter, contact the U.S. Marshals to begin looking for him. While looking, they locate Walter's vehicle, process the car, get multiple red samples, and a bag containing 6 Fire 40 cases, along with the totes they saw him carrying from the hotel. So the next morning, Walter was spotted at a relative house and brought to the interrogation room. Walter starts by asking detective why is he hurt. They tell him 2 of his friends was victims of an M. Then they asked him where he was on March 28th. He said he can't remember that. But earlier in the case, he said he went to the hotel, and video footage proved that. Then they tell Walter they had a car, phone records, and evidence that he owns a ooh-whop. So they asked Walter what happened. He said he doesn't have time for this and asked for a lawyer. Walter was charged with 2 counts of felony M, aggravated assault. He is currently awaiting trial. Hit that like button, leave me some comments. Stay safe out there. I'm done talking.
Were you jealous of his life?
He had a house, he had a job, he had friends, he took care of his kids, he had an income. You had nothing.